Friends and colleagues, good morning. Good morning to you. Class of 2015, family and friends, good morning and congratulations. How many of you grew up within 25 miles of here? Know the area pretty well? Back there too, 25 miles? Okay. So just one set of statistics to give you some idea of what life in Chester is like for many of its residents. The median home value for a home in Chester is $67,000. The median home value this is the middle, guys, for a house in Swarthmore, this is from the 2010 census, is $432,000. And Chester is only a mile and change that way. So I wrote you a little story today called Love, Recycling, and Becoming Number One. Every several months, I test my fitness by riding my bike from the edge of Swarthmore down Route 320 to the edge of Chester. Last year, that ride took 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and this April, I made it in 3 minutes, 16 seconds. So the city of Chester is quite close to Swarthmore. It really is close because I'm just not that good of a bike rider, so it's close, folks. But it's just far enough out of eyesight and earshot that the many sorrows of the city remain mostly unaddressed. So I have some very bad news for you. I have some delightfully good news for you, and a brief proposal. And you mustn't worry, this binder is filled with the music that we're playing you out with. I understand. When I conducted my first Mozart Requiem at Swarthmore, there were 138 members of the college chorus. 3 years later, I found 7 boys in one Chester school, and that was the beginning of the Chester Children's Chorus. Today, there are not so many singers in the college chorus, and this summer there will be more than 140 children in the CCC. 2 years ago, the Chester Children's Chorus, we sang our first Mozart Requiem, and last year we sang our first Messiah, works of art not typically associated with Chester. I tell the children all the time that when they perform, they have the opportunity to show the world that Chester children are just as beautiful and capable as their neighbors' children up the road. Actually, we kind of pound up, and I tell them, you all just need to go out there and represent and show them what's up. And they absolutely get it. They absolutely get what they're supposed to be doing. So here's the very sad news. In 2013, I wrote a song for the families of the 22 victims murdered in Chester that year. So you have to understand that there are only 34,000 residents in Chester. So if Chester were a country, it would have 3 times the murder rate of Mexico. If it had 100,000 people, it would be counted as the second most dangerous place in the United States to live. And I'm wondering, if you count the population of the college and the population of the town, if you had a similar murder rate, 3 or 4 of you would be murdered every year. And you know that you wouldn't imagine parents sending your children to a place where you know that 3 or 4 people are going to get killed every year. It wouldn't happen. You just take your beautiful children and that hard-earned money and you'd go somewhere else, wouldn't you? Those of you who live in poor urban areas know that there is a tradition of placing stuffed animal memorials, mostly teddy bears, to mark the location of the murder of a victim's home. At every rehearsal, let's see, I wrote a song for those 22, and we sang it, and the children just loved singing it, even though they cried at every rehearsal. Somebody always cried. Let me just go off script so I can just talk to you. And during one rehearsal, we were having conversation, and one soprano girl, she was 14, she said, my older brother was one of the 22. And then in the next several weeks, and I wish that were the end of the story, but in the next several weeks, it turned out that 2 more in a group of 45, I was rehearsing the oldest group of kids, the children that sang Messiah and Requiem. It turns out that 3 children in that group of 45 lost older siblings to murder that year. 3 in a group of 45. So when I hear educators talk about poor black kids needing more grit, I quickly remind them that our children have experienced more hardship than you'll ever know and are more courageous than you'll ever be. So here's some good news. Please enjoy. And the following stories are absolutely true. I couldn't make this stuff up. They're so wonderful. 11 years ago, a little boy, DeAndre, D-E-O-N-D-R-E, joined the CCC. His voice was odd for a 7-year-old, unusually low, with no ability to sing in the normal children's range. But he was attentive and charming. So despite his inability to sing most of the music, we kept him. DeAndre struggled mightily. He really did struggle, folks, until his voice broke and he began singing bass. There he blossomed and he led his section to glorious Requiem and Messiah performances. He joined our fitness club as a high schooler, and while doing our treadmill workouts, he shared his love of American history with me. So I began lending him some of my favorite books. We read, we ran. He mostly ran on 13, and I did not run at 13. And we talked a lot, and I began calling him Superboy. I would just tease him about everything he was good at, so he was Superboy for about a year. 2 years ago, with the help of some Swarthmore friends, DeAndre was given an interview for the Shipley School, awarded a full scholarship, and began his studies there as a high school junior. Shipley is an elite mainline school, and I know that's redundant, mainline and elite. It's in Bryn Mawr, and it's adjacent to Bryn Mawr College. He still has another week of school, so he commutes 3 hours every day. He gets up at about 5 in the morning to catch his first train. DeAndre earned mostly A's. He joined crew, captained the cross-country team, was elected president of the senior class. Don't clap yet, hang on. He scored above 700 on the math SAT and was awarded full scholarships to, check this list out, Williams, Oberlin, UPenn, and Swarthmore. Here. This is true as well. He dismissed Oberlin as lacking the quality of the others. So it seems he's learned something about snobbery during his preppy mainline experience. Williams was too far away, and for most of the spring, he was sure he wanted to attend UPenn with his friends, and he was also hearing from many folks about the important connections he would make at an Ivy League school. And the happy ending is, at the very last minute, he accepted his McCabe scholarship to Swarthmore College. Thanks. So here's a little good news about our school. Our school, the Chester Charter School for the Arts, is 3 years old. We have 427 children. Grades K through 8, eventually will be a K through 12 school, and one of the few arts-integrated schools in the country. Every year, our students take the state assessments. Here they're called the PSSAs. In 2014, the progress that we made was the third best in the 800 school region. So the progress that we made from 2013 to 2014 was the third greatest project in the 800 schools around here that took the test. So here's a very, very funny story. So how good is our school? How good is our school? We have 5 white kids in our very black school, and one beautiful, rambunctious second grader, Dakota. When she talks about race, she'll say, "I'm not white, I'm light-skinned." So our school is so good that the white folks want to be black. Thank you, some of you, for laughing at that. For those of you who didn't laugh, don't be nervous. You're still the winners, okay? You're still the winners. You got nothing to worry about for a long time. So I'm going to close with a proposal. I have a proposal for you, Swarthmore College community. In every practice room in the music building, there are trash cans, but not recycling bins. Every now and then, a thoughtful student, rather than throwing a recyclable into the garbage can, will sensitively leave it next to the garbage can in the practice room. This hyper-enlightened student is doing her part to save the earth, and we are grateful. All of this is true. I'm not making this up. However, it takes about 15 seconds to walk from any practice room to a recycling bin. And so here's the serious issue. It is likely that a Chester resident working in environmental services has to pick up that plastic bottle and put it where it belongs. So how does that man feel when he picks up something that could have easily been thrown away properly? What does he say to his wife when she asks him about his day? He works hard, is not ashamed, but perhaps is not particularly happy either. He welcomes that the college pays a living wage to all employees, but wonders who thought $12 an hour was living. But if this mostly unnoticed man has children, he is working hard because he wants his children to have better lives than he had. So he is particularly motivated because his children will receive the college's tuition benefit if they attend college. And because the tuition benefit is for his child, he will pick up that plastic bottle and make that 15-second trip. So what could Swarthmore College do so that the man taking care of your recycling and all Chester parents loved you, and I mean love you, just love, felt genuine respect, admiration, and gratitude? There are 7,200 children going to school right now in Chester. Most will not go to college, and 40% will not graduate high school. But what if you all created a place where Chester children could learn as much and as well as your children learn? We could call this place a school. It would have an early childhood program and would ensure that every child is performing at or above grade level by 11th grade. Its graduates, your graduates, would attend good colleges, some great colleges, trade schools, or the military. College students could learn about real community service and learn, practice, and serve under experts. They could also learn from the first grade class how to recycle properly. U.S. News and World Report would immediately promote you to #1. And most important of all, because you created a place where more Chester children are receiving the same excellent education that your children are receiving, a place where Chester children are safe, respected, and admired, and because you have overcome your fears and given your resources and love to Chester children, eventually Chester parents and the community would love you back. Thank you all for listening.